What'd you say?
Okay. Here we go. Quick reminder, our hints are up here if we're solving for mass. Something I didn't mention yesterday, wait until you get to the very end to deal with the 1/2 and to deal with the square. So like set up the 1/2 mass till it's by itself. Like get it to that point before you get rid of the half. Solve until you get to the v squared and then get rid of the v squared. Trust me, it works better. If you try to get rid of the half, then sometimes you don't take the times it by 2 to everything that needs to be, and it just gets messier. So I didn't mention that yesterday, so I'll show you on these ones, but I just wanted to kind of make sure I showed you that. I'm going to get caught up with you guys because we had most of this done, but we ran out of time. So we were solving for mass. Kinetic energy was 1500. Velocity was 35. So KE equals 1/2 m times v squared. Always write your equation, even if it's like, oh, I don't need to, I'm just gonna plug things in and rewrite it. Please don't skip this step. I promise, the people who don't skip it usually do better, like they don't miss a step. V is 35, so I'm gonna make sure I include the square. Now I simplify. I cannot do anything with my 1500. I can't do anything, I'm gonna wait. This is what I'm talking about. Don't do anything with the 1/2 yet. Just leave it be. What is 35 squared? 1225. And we said that to get rid of the 1225, because our plan is to try to get the 1/2 m by itself. So if I get rid of the 1225, how do I do that? How do I turn that into 1, basically? Caitlin? Yeah, because this is multiplication. We want the inverse or the opposite. So if I divide this by itself, it turns into 1. But the rules of algebra say whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. So what do we get when we take 1500 divided by 1225? And I'm going to put that up here. 1.2. So 1.2 equals my 1/2 mass. Now I'm at the point where I am done with everything besides getting rid of the 1/2. Because if I can get rid of the 1/2, then I have what mass is equal to. So this part you don't have to write, but I want to show you why the 1/2 gets taken care of if we multiply it by 2. 1/2 is really dividing by 2. You're taking 1 and dividing it by 2. If we do the inverse of dividing by 2, it's multiplying by 2. So if I do that, I end up with 2 over 2, which cancels to 1. So that's why multiplying by 2 will get rid of that. And whatever I do to this side, I have to do to this side. So 2 times my 1.2 changes this to 2.4 for my mass. So this is why in the hint I say, hey, multiply by 2. It's really the inverse of dividing by 2. Does that make sense? Are we good there? All right, so my answer is 2.4. What are my units going to be here? Kilogram. Very nice. Okay. All right, let's look at a few more. Let's go to 7. Okay, an object has a kinetic energy of 88 joules and a mass of 45 kilograms. How fast is the object moving? What am I solving for? What do I need to circle? Stewie? Very nice. And again, it doesn't even say velocity, but you know that fast is another word for velocity. Great job. All right, give me the 2 things I need to underline, Emily. And good. My mass is 45, my kinetic energy is 88, and I'm going to write my equation. KE equals 1/2 m times v squared. Now I plug in 88 for kinetic, 1/2 of 45 times my v squared. I'm not gonna worry about the square until I have v squared on the side all by itself. So I can't do anything with 88, so I bring it down. What is 1/2 of 45? And we can leave it to the 10th is fine. Audrey? 22.5. So I simplify finding 1/2 of 45 and I put that answer down below. I have to bring my multiplication down and I bring my v squared down. Now I'm at the point where I'm multiplying by 22.5. How do I get rid of that? What is the inverse of the multiplication? We're trying to leave it so v squared stays. How do I get rid of my 22.5? Well,
Divide.
yep. My inverse of multiplication is division. I divide those, and I do that to both sides. Now I need to simplify my 88 divided by 22.5, and what do we get? Did you get Kayla? 4. Okay. 4, and I need to include my equals, and all I'm left with is my v squared. Is everybody okay how we go from here to there? Simplify 88 and divided by 22.5, that turns into 4. My equals goes over. This is gone, it's 1 times v squared, which is just v squared. So that's all I have. I'm at my final step. How do we get rid of the square? Because that's the very last thing we want to do.
Square root.
Good. We square root it. Whatever I do to this side, I have to do to the other as well. So my v squared changes to v. And what is the square root of 4? So this becomes my velocity, and what are the units that have to go with that? What do you think, Cole?
Meters per second squared.
Let's just say meters per second. Squared would be the acceleration.
Okay.
Yeah, which is what we worked on so much last time, so I know I have to keep stopping myself from saying the squared there too. 2 meters per second. Okay, so now you have 2 examples of solving for velocity. Let's go to number 8. It says a scooter has a velocity of 21 meters per second and a kinetic energy of 1,400 joules. What is the mass of the scooter? What am I solving for here? Let's see, Cheyenne? Okay, that's my great unknown. And give me a piece of information, Breeze, that is given. Actually, give me both.
21 meters per second and 1,400 joules.
Good. All right, so my KE equals 1/2 mass, oops, got ahead of myself. Times v squared. I fill in my 1,400. I'm having 1/2 mass, that's staying the same because I don't know what mass is, but my velocity is 21 and I'm gonna square that. So now I start to simplify. I bring down my 1,400 because I can't do anything else. I bring down my 1/2 mass because I'm gonna save that for the end. What is 21 squared? $441. Okay, now, how do I get rid of my 441? Because I'm trying to get 1/2 mass left alone. What can I do? Cade, how do I get rid of the 441?
You divide.
Okay, multiplication, the inverse is division. So to get rid of the 441, I divide both sides by 441. And what do I get when I simplify 1,400 divided by 441?
3.2.
Okay, 3.2. So this simplified answer comes up here, equals, and I'm left with 1/2 mass. Now that I'm down to half mass, I am allowed to get rid of the half. Now I'm gonna worry about that. So we said to get rid of the half, multiply it both sides by 2. That changes it to 1 over here, right? And I have to multiply the other side by 2 as well. Okay? So we end up with 6.4. And what are gonna be the units that I need? Anthony, what are the units for mass?
Kilograms.
Very good. Okay? What do you think? Doable? Please try to go in the order, always leaving the 1/2 mass or the V squared. Leave this to the end, okay? Leave the 1/2 mass and the V squared till you get to the very end. It will just make it a lot simpler, okay? Leave that to the end. All right, I would like you to try 4, 5, and 6. And then you're gonna bring it up and show me. And then we're gonna actually move on to gravitational potential. You're gonna have an assignment on both of them, in the next day or two.